Okay, today we are going to learn something new in fractions. We are going to move on and we are actually going to start learning how to find a fraction on a number line. So you have all seen a number line before, I'm sure. Especially probably when you were little and maybe in your classroom you had a number line on the wall that maybe helped you count. Like this. Okay. And then you maybe like in kindergarten, your teacher would tell you like find 3 on the number line. You have to find it. So these are going to be a little bit different, obviously, because these are fractions on a number line. Now I put a fraction here, so 1/2 is on here. You have to remember when you do a fraction on a number line that a fraction is just part of one whole thing. So here's one whole circle. So a fraction of it is a section, a piece of it. It's not one whole thing. It's less than one whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my line. Since it's less than 1, that means right here on my number line, I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to go, and for now, I'm going to stop at 1, okay? Because again, remember, the fraction is less than one thing, because it's only a piece of one thing. So that's why our number line can only needs to go to 0. So I'm going to start at 0 and go to 1, and the easiest way to start with this is to take it first and divide it in half. So if I gave you a line, if I gave you a string, if I gave you a piece of yarn and I said cut it in half, you would all be able to do something like that. You would all just take where the middle was and you would divide it in half like this. So that's what I am doing right here. I took my line, I divided it in half. Now it's just like when you take a shape and you divide it in half. If I wanted it in 2 pieces, I had to draw one line. If I want my line in half or in 2 pieces, I drew one line to divide it. So now, when I go, imagine this is like a running, like someone's running a marathon and they are starting here. They haven't gone anywhere yet. And they have to go all the way to the end. That's gone, maybe it means they've gone, for instance, like 1 mile. That means when they've gone to here, look at it again, how far have they gone? They have gone about halfway. So we would mark this 1/2. When you see a number line like this, even though there's only one line, what people want to do is they want to count and say, oh, I see 1 mark in the middle, and they want to use that for their denominator. What you want to do is do it just like you do when you see a shape for your fraction. You want to count the pieces here, and that's your denominator. Here, even though this is a line, it's not a regular shape. It is still kind of a shape. It's a line. It still has pieces. It has this piece here. Oops, marker's not working. There we go. And I have this piece here. So you have 2 pieces of the line, which is why 2 is my denominator. Okay, I'm going to try another one. It's my line again. And again, I'm going to start at 0, go all the way over to 1 whole thing. Imagine I've run 1 whole mile if I've gone this far. Okay, so maybe this time when I'm running my mile, I need to stop a couple of times, okay? So I'm going to kind of take this, and let's say I get tired, so I need to stop here, and then I get tired again, so I need to stop here for like another little water break or something. So if you look at this line, what your brain might want to do is go, okay, 1, 2, and then make 2 your denominator. But again, think of your line as a shape, just like this up here. If you think of your line as a shape, how many sections is the line in? Just like when you do a shape, how many sections is this in? It's in 2 sections. How many sections do you have? You have 1, 2, 3. So it's in thirds. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to label what fraction is this? Like how far have I gone? If this was my whole mile, if I've gone from here to here, how far have I gone? Well, my line, or my mile, how I'm thinking of it now, my mile is split up into 3 sections. So I've gone, these are like thirds, like when you do a rectangle. Here. We did a rectangle and made it almost like this line. Look, your line almost looks like your rectangle. Well, if you did a rectangle almost identical to it, that would be thirds, right? So this is also going to be thirds too. So if you started running, run, oh, and then I'm so tired right here. Well, then that means that I've gone the first third, so I've gone 1/3. And then I keep going, okay, now I can keep going, oh, I'm really thirsty, and again, I need a drink. And then I stop here. Well, how far have you gone now? Well, you've gone another third, so now you've gone 2 of the thirds. Which makes sense, because then when you go the last, and you've gone one whole thing, think about what you've gone. You've gone 1/3, 2/3. Oh, now I've gone 3/3. And like we talked about yesterday and a few days ago, whenever there's the same number on your numerator and your denominator, that means you've gone one whole thing, because you have the whole thing colored in. Or like when we did the 3/3 the other day. Here's your thirds. If you color in 1, 2, 3 of your thirds, you've colored in the whole thing. Okay, let's look at another one. All right, so tight. It's hard for me to erase this while I'm holding my phone here. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there's my line. If you haven't gone anywhere yet, you've gone nowhere. 0. And if you get done with your race, you've gone your mile. 1. Okay? Or you've gone, this is one line right now. Okay? Okay. This time, let's say that I want to split my line into fourths. That means I need 4 sections. Again, just think of it as a shape. If you had a circle and you wanted to split it into fourths, you would know that that meant you needed 4 pieces. So it's the same thing with a line. It's not any different. You want it in 4 sections. So here, the rectangle way is to think of it as easier, because the rectangle is a little bit more similar to a line than a circle is. If you wanted to divide this into fourths, you would draw 3 lines like we've talked about. So if you want to take your line and divide it into fourths, you need to draw 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. So then if you look, and again, your brain's going to want, when you first start doing this, your brain's going to want to go 1, 2, 3. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. But you got to fight it. Fight the urge to do that, okay? Look at the sections. Just like when you look at a rectangle, you look at the sections. 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. Oh, okay, so here, it's just here. It's a rectangle. Pretend like it's like a rectangle. Ooh, look at it. It's almost like a rectangle. Okay? And it's divided up like this. Whoop. These are sections. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. This line is in fourths. Don't count the lines here. Count the sections, just like when you have a shape. So this would mean you've gone 1/4. So I'm gonna throw a little curveball at you. So that means, what if I was here? Well, if this is 1/4, if I come over to my one whole thing, that means I've gone all of the 4 of the fourths. What would have to be here? This is 1/4, and you're just counting. That means that one would have to be the second one. That would have to be 2. That means when this point right here would have to be 3/4. What would have to be in the middle? Well, if you've got 1/4, 3/4 is right behind it. What's in between the 1 and 3? 2. 2/4. Okay, so this is going to be the next thing that we're going to work on. What I want you to do is you are going to have a fraction leap worksheet. And I want you, the first couple are done for you, and now that you watched this video and you are looking at that sheet, I want you to go ahead and see if you can fill in the last few of those and then turn it into the tray so I can kind of see how you are understanding this. Have a wonderful day with your wonderful teacher at your wonderful school.